Good afternoon, sir. We come from Group 7 and our group member is SHUANG, Tan Yingyun, Li Weijian, Umi AMIRAH, and Wan BASIRAH. Our group title is Household Indebtedness in Malaysia.
A very good day to everyone. I'm SHUANG metric number 286488. So in this video, I'm going to present the part of introduction and conclusion. First of all, household debt can be defined as the situation that all household liabilities, including non-profit organizations that service households that need payment of interest or principal to creditors at a future date. Since the 1997 Asian financial crisis, a significant change in the Malaysian financial sector has been a decrease in the credit exposure of banking institutions to business and a greater emphasis on household financing. Prior to the crisis, the household category accounted for 1/3 of the banking sector total loan exposure. Currently, it accounts for more than half of it. One possible explanation is that prior to the crisis, highly leveraged households were forced to reduce their spending due to tighter borrowing conditions. Another reason could be that some households reduced their spending as a precaution in anticipation of a weaker income and employment outlook. To be continued, Malaysia household debt to disposable income ratio is concerning, indicating that households are spending more than they can afford or paying off debts with all or most of their income. However, indicate that rising household debt levels are not a problem. It becomes an issue when the debt becomes a burden to the borrower, prompting them to fail to service their loan.
Good afternoon. My name is Tang Yingyun and my metric number is 2x6500. I will continue to present the factors of indebtedness among households in Malaysia. The first factor is using credit cards. The government decreased employee monthly contribution to the Employee Provident Fund (EPF) by 2% in 2009 in order to promote domestic spending. The government has removed the annual charge of credit card holders. Without the widespread usage of credit cards, households has been able to acquire items and services that otherwise may not have been possible. To assist both household spending without rising salary, government encouraged using credit card purchases. But the most households or young people buy a lot of brand goods on credit cards to fulfill their ambitions. People will earn more money as a result. The household will have a difficult time managing its spending and debt. The second factor is cost of living and housing price increase. Everything seems to be more expensive than it was before due to price increase. The inflation of products makes pro-income family debt. For example, the family who is forced into debt must pay off necessaries of life like housing, transportation, and education expenses. They must spend more money on those expenses and debt will increase. In addition, when housing costs rise, demand of house and mortgage rise as a result of people waiting to acquire house out of consent, that price will only continue to rise. The last but not least, the factors of indebtedness among households in Malaysia is behavior and attitude of the individual. When household has behavior using credit card, do not have saving account and have knowledge of the finance, they may not able to make full payment when they buy anything. Some customers opt to use credit card for the majority for their transactions. As a result, they cannot have full payment when their credit card bills are due. That's all for me. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Lee Wei Jian and my metric number is 2x6519. I will continue the presentation with the effects of indebtedness among households in Malaysia. The first effect is encourage more spending. With the assistance of this system, anyone with a low income can also feel like a person with a great income. There is too much follow in the way of people's life until they forgot about their own situation and may be a greedy and ego person. This results in excessive spending without thinking about the long-term effects if wishes are fulfilled, but when the existing income starts not being able to support their lifestyles, then this is the starting point for them. Next is reduced cost payment in installments. Using a credit card allows us to buy goods by paying in monthly installments. Among the items that can be paid in installments are house, mobile phones, car, and internet subscription. Even if you are in debt, using a credit card is also worthwhile and possibly reduce the burden of buyers and consumers to pay for their goods. The third effect of indebtedness is the collapse of family institutions. If a family experiences economic problems, it will affect family harmony. All expenses such as house, child, and car expenses will be disrupted due to debt. Husband and wives will struggle to find a way to solve their debt problem. Thus, divorce became an easy way for them to stay away from the people who are on money. But the debt is still there. The last effect is having stress and health problems. Being in debt more than ability can put a person in a stressful situation. This is because existing debt has exceed the income on. So this can lead to emotional stress and health problems. This problem is important because there are a few people who are willing to take shortcuts such as suicide to avoid paying debts. Besides that, this problem can also affect work performance and lead to bigger problems. We can see the debt burden getting higher higher the probability of experiencing stress and depression. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is BASIRAH BINTI ZAHARI and my metric number is 286634. After we know all of the effect of indebtedness among households in Malaysia that has been told by JIAN, now I will present about the suggestion to control indebtedness among households. We know that the issue of household indebtedness has become a sharp problem in Malaysia, which affect the economy in the short and long term. Therefore, all parties must take action to reduce this problem. Here are the recommendations which can be done by the government, banks, and even financial institutions to reduce household debt problem. First of all, we must make financial management program. This is because they must understand how to manage their finance as a household, so that they may utilize and manage their fund appropriately. Both the public and private sectors need to play a part in establishing programs. The program's planner must include strategies for raising awareness among the general public, particularly among individuals who are just starting work. As a result, they won't squander money by purchasing things that they do not actually need. The most fundamental aspect of financial management, including budgeting, spending, credit use, saving, and debt decision making, will be covered in the curriculum. Household will know when and how to handle the loan as needed if they have the financial understanding. Next, we also can reduce household indebtedness by shortening the loan tenure. The time frame allotted for the borrower to fully repay the lender for the principal and loan interest is referred as the loan duration. For instance, if borrower such a bank specific a 5-year payback period, household households must return the loan on time or yearly. By shortening the loan term, consumers will borrow less money since they must pay their loan soon. As a result, problem caused by debt-ridden household will diminish. Lenders can help by advising against increasing interest rate if borrowers don't make their payments on time. The borrower will thereafter be required to make substantial payments. By doing this, fewer households will take out loans. Then, by control over banks and institution finance, we also can help this problem. Central banks must regulate and restrict lending from commercial banks and other financial institutions in order to prevent the excessive withdrawal of funds from this institution. Increasing the interest rate, also known as statutory reserve ratio, is one of the actions from the central bank must perform. Due to the rise, commercial banks would be less able to provide loans and won't be able to make substantial loans to households. As a result, commercial banks will be forced to impose restrictions on home borrowing in order to attract new borrowers. Additionally, it enables commercial banks to raise their interest rate and make significant profits. Thus, this will make it more difficult for households to borrow money and pay off their debt. Last but not least, these problems also can be solved by making a monetary policy and the increased sensitivity of the household sector to interest rate change. The action and decision taken by central bank of a particular country that affect both the money supply and interest rate are known as monetary policy. It is a tool in the government's portfolio for managing inflation, reducing liquidity, and boosting economic growth. In order to decrease the supply of money, this strategy raises the short-term interest rate. The government action actually reduces inflation as a result. In this case, private debt becomes more expensive and there is less money in circulation. Households won't be able to take out significant loan in the central bank, reduce the quantity of money supply. This is lessen the amount of debt owned by household and help them refrain from taking out bank loan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AMIRAH binti RAHMAN and my NASRIC number is 286557. Okay, now it's my turn for me to explain about the empirical evidence, which is the household indebtedness in Malaysia. Okay, based on the figure that I provide, which is the household debt percentage of nominal GDP from 2010 until 2021, which is the range is 10 years for this analysis. Okay, we see in the figure, on 2010, the household debt percentage that was recorded is 72.337% and decreased to 66.137% in 2013, it was increasing 13.8%. Okay, next, in 2014 until 2015, the data was recorded a little bit decreasing, which is on 2014 it was 86.105% and decreased a little bit to 86.937% in 2015. Okay, but starting from 2016 until 2018, the data of the household debt percentage was decreasing dramatically, which is on the 2016, the data was 86.461% to 81.968% on 2018, which is it was decreasing like 4.493%. Okay, from 2009 until 2020, the data was increasing drastically from 2019, which is 82.728%, to 93.223% on 2019. But back to 2021, the data was decreasing again to 69.023%. I will give some explanation about the figure that I provide. As you can see, from that figure, I just choose 2 years, which is 2019 until 2020, because of the analysis data shows the drastically increasing of the household indebtedness percentage. Okay, as you can see, the increasing of a household indebtedness percentage on 2019 until 2020 was increasing 10.455% in just 1 year. This is what happened because on that year, our world was getting hit by the COVID-19, and it is give a big effect to the world economic. Besides that, from that situation, the people out there lost their work because of lot of industries getting breakdown. And from that situation, they need to use their spend money to continue their life. Certain of people out there also need to borrow or apply the loan to make sure they can continue the life. Okay, next, for your information, the household debt increased by 4.4%, which is 1.02 trillion at the end of July 2020. Malaysia was declared 10,317 cases of declared bankrupt because of losing their job, and their business was breakdown. Thank you.
In summary, the percentage of GDP in Malaysia has been found to fluctuate from 2010 to 2021, with an increase beginning in 2010. The trend of household debt shows an increase of 10.455% from 2019 to 2020, starting at 82.863% in 2019 and rapidly growing to 93.318% in 2020. It is because of the Malaysia implementation of the Movement Control Order (MCO). Only necessary industry such as banking, pharmacy, food supplies, electricity, and water service could operate at this time. Due to the loss of their jobs and income, the household were forced to spend their saving, borrow money from others, or apply for a loan to survive. So, the researcher hopes that the tips provided at the part 2.3 can help solve the household indebtedness in Malaysia. As a result, the issue of the household indebtedness in Malaysia can be reduced, and economic growth can be created when the household indebtedness is decreased. That's all for our group presentation. Thank you.